If you are a gamer or if you even use the internet, you know what the term NPC means. Almost every venture in life has its main characters around whom everything revolves, and the non-player characters who seem to be permanently banished to the background. Well, football is not any different. Every club has those guys who are pretty much NPCs, and there are some new signings this summer who are heading for that fate at their new clubs in this new campaign. Those are the guys we are here to talk about in this video today. These are 7 new signings who are just going to be NPCs this season. We'll start with Karim Adeyemi. Barcelona saw an opportunity there and decided that they just could not pass up on it, but the reality is that we don't even think that there's a chance he could be a starter this season. Barcelona will surely sign 1 or 2 new strikers before the window closes, so their starting attacking trio will be Rafinha on the left, Lamine Yamal on the right, and the new striker down the middle. Anthony Gordon will likely be the first from off the bench, which leaves Adeyemi as 5th or 6th on the pecking order in the attack. It feels like the Germany international this season will be what Rooney Bargji was at the club last season. And on the other side of the Clásico divide, we have Carlos Espí, who is surely going to be an NPC at Real Madrid. No doubt about that one. First of all, Kylian Mbappe is a player who rarely ever sits on the bench, so whoever is going to be his understudy must always be ready to survive on limited playing time. But here's the thing, Espí is not even Mbappe's backup. He is the backup to Mbappe's backup. This time around, Endrick is staying at Real Madrid, so we expect that the Brazil international will be first off the bench in that number 9 position, and he'll likely play most of the Copa del Rey games. This leaves Espí out in the cold. He will barely get playing time this season. Let us now talk about Ferran Torres. He just left Barcelona to move to PSG in a transfer worth 50 million euros, but unless something really drastic happens, we don't see him being a main character at the club. PSG's front 3 is already set: Dembélé, Kvara and Doué. It has worked perfectly for the past couple years, and it is definitely not getting tampered with now. Barcola's departure is not going to change much in our opinion, as we believe that Aklusha has already stepped in as his direct replacement. Ferran is just going to be another Gonzalo Ramos at PSG. Unless one of the big boys suffers a major injury, the scorer of the World Cup winning goal this year must be prepared to play a much less dominant role than he did when he was at Barcelona. The advantage for him here though is that with PSG's recent trend of resting their best players for the knockout phase of the Champions League, Ferran has a chance of actually playing a healthy number of league and cup games, so it might end up being slightly better than we envisage for him. Andrés Santos is another guy who gives us this vibe. He just signed a 5-year deal with Manchester United this summer following his €56.3 million move from Chelsea this summer, but we don't think he's going there to play a major role at Old Trafford at all. He was something of an NPC at Chelsea, and we think that he will continue to be that at Man United this season. We expect Michael Carrick to go with a midfield 3 of Balaba, Tielemans and Bruno Fernandes, and we won't be very surprised if Kobbie Mainoo is first off the bench. This will leave Santos as a background player more than anything. It could get even worse for him if Mason Mount finally decides to start balling in a Man United shirt. We saw how Carrick was willing to give him opportunities last season, so never say never. But the most obvious NPC in the Premier League this season is going to be Illan Meslier. He was signed from Leeds this summer, but we really don't see him featuring much for the Premier League champions this season. Raya is obviously the number 1, and we expect that he'll be in goal for every single Premier League and Champions League game. And then Kepa will likely have the cup games. But even then, considering what happened in the EFL Cup final last year, Arteta might not want to take the risk, so we might see Raya take over if they get that far again this season. All of this leaves Meslier on the bench for the entirety of the season. Honestly, we're finding it so hard to see how the 26-year-old gets even a minute this season. Being a second goalkeeper is hard enough, but being a third-choice goalie? Now, that's you pretty much signing a long-term deal with the bench. Unless Kepa gets sold in the final days of the window or picks up a nasty injury, Illan Meslier is set to be the biggest NPC in the Premier League this season. But then again, this is a man in his mid-20s who was available for free. With Raya and Kepa both now in their 30s, maybe this is not a signing for right now, but one for the future. Still in London, we believe that Jordan Henderson is going to be an NPC at Chelsea this season. We think that the former Liverpool captain was brought in for his leadership qualities and what he can bring to the dressing room in terms of experience and motivation. but we don't expect that he'll be doing much on the pitch. This was the role he played for England at this year's World Cup after all. He played a total of 6 minutes across 8 games all tournament, but you could tell that he was such a big figure in the dressing room and on the bench. Everyone was wondering why Tuchel even named him in the squad in the first place, especially over guys like Adam Wharton and Kobbie Mainoo. Well, it was simply because the manager already had the main characters in his game. He then needed an NPC who could contribute off the pitch, and there was nobody more suited to that role than Jordan Henderson. Chelsea fans and even past coaches have all been saying that the team is too young and desperately needs some experienced players, so that is one thing the owners finally decided to take care of. It's looking like Enzo Fernandez is going to stay, so we'll likely see a midfield three of Enzo, Caicedo and Cole Palmer, and the first ones off the bench will likely be Romeo Lavia, Valentin Barco and Dario Esugo. Xabi Alonso could also play Reece James and Morgan Rogers at the centre of the park, so there are just way too many options in midfield before the gaffer will have to really rely on Henderson. Finally, Jeremy Monga is surely going to be an NPC this season, but it's okay because he's just 17 years old. Manchester City signed him from Leicester City for almost €12 million this summer, and on paper he is now a part of the first team. But we just don't see him featuring much, if at all, for the Man City senior squad this season. He is a left winger, and even though he has so much promise, there is just no way he will be starting ahead of Doku and Grealish. Even if those two are unavailable, they still have Semenyo who can slot in there. So it's a long way before the coach gets to Monga. What's likely going to happen is that he'll end up playing more with the youth team than the first team this season, and then in a few years he'll end up joining Chelsea. The pipeline from Man City's youth system to the Chelsea first team is getting stronger and stronger. Cole Palmer, Tosin Adarabioyo, Morgan Rogers, Liam Delap, Romeo Lavia. Whether they join directly or move to another club first, Chelsea just love a Man City graduate, and in the case of Jeremy Monga, he is actually a Chelsea fan, so look out for this one. Anyway, it is now time to hear from you guys. Do you agree with our list? Are there more summer signings you believe will end up being nothing more than NPCs at their new clubs this season? Get in the comments and talk to us. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Also, turn on the bell notification so you never miss out on new content. Catch you in the next one. Bye. Football fans, this is the deal you don't want to miss. Whether you're hunting for an iconic World Cup jersey or the colours of your favourite club, Goal90 Shop has the perfect pick for you. And right now, everything is a flat 15% off, with free shipping anywhere in the world. So don't wait. Hit the link in the description, head over to Goal90 Shop and grab your favourite jersey today.
Hey fam, this is your chance to build the jersey collection you've been waiting for. The Goal90 bundle deal is live. Buy 2 jerseys and get 10% off. Buy 3 and get 15% off. Buy 4 and get a massive 25% off. Club kits, country kits, retro classics, pick your favourites and save big. And yes, every order comes with free worldwide shipping. Goal90 bundle deal. Buy more, save more. Shop now at Goal90 Shop.